Miami Morning Show.
You watching the wake up, 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 wake up.
Miami Morning Show.
You watching the wake up, 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 wake up.
Miami Morning Show.
You watching the wake up, 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 wake up.
Miami Morning Show.
You watching the wake up, 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 wake up.
Miami Morning Show.
You watching.
Miami Morning Show.
You watching the
Miami Morning Show.
You watching the wake up, 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 wake up.
Miami Morning Show.
You watching the wake up, 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 the wake up.
Miami Morning Show.
You watching the wake up, 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 wake up.
Miami Morning Show.
You watching the wake up, 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 wake up.
Miami Morning Show.
This is Andre Soul, Wake Up Miami Morning Show on the scene, iUrban TV on the scene. We are here at Roberto Clemente Park, where there has been a renaming. It has changed from Dorothy Quintana Community Center to Roberto Clemente Park, Dorothy Quintana Community Center. And we are right here in the heart of our community, right in Wynwood, the original Wynwood. This is where it all started at, and this is where most of our Boricua community resided. And so we just here making sure that we support our community, let you know what's going on, let you see exactly how this community is changing and what our commissioner is doing in this district. So yeah, make sure you follow us. Stay tuned to the Wake Up Miami Morning Show. Stay tuned to iUrban TV. We are the premier #1 media source for urban entertainment and urban and community development. You heard it, Andre Soul said it, and we'll be right back with some more stuff. Y'all just stick around. So we're here with the commissioner, as you know. She is our commissioner. We love her to death. So tell us, what took place here today?
Today is the kickoff of Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yes.
And in honor of Hispanic Heritage Month, we are celebrating Roberto Clemente by putting his name on this park. It is now officially the Roberto Clemente Park and Dorothy Quintana Community Center. I've tragically on a mission to Nicaragua to give supplies because of an earthquake.
Yeah.
He was killed in a plane crash, but he taught us, his legacy has taught us that no matter who we are, what we do in this life, we must give back to our brothers and sisters.
Period.
And that is what I'm about. And that is why I'm so honored to be here to recognize the life and legacy of Roberto Clemente, and that generations to come will know what his legacy was and what he meant to this community.
Period. Me and you, Lily, always.
Always.
I told you, right? Even when I'm not there, if I feel better, I'm in the building, right? Did I tell you that?
Always.
I told you. So, what's going on here right now?
Is the beauty of the legacy of Roberto Clemente goes beyond. So the beauty and the legacy of Roberto Clemente is something that we carry very hard, deep in our heart. The job that you see me doing in everywhere is because of Roberto Clemente.
Right.
Today, if you look at my bank account, I only have $10. $10. But it's the honor of my life to tell you that I have $10
Right.
because I give everything to the community. And I don't do it to be famous. I do it from my heart.
You do it for the love.
For the love. for the love of the people, and that's something that I learned from Roberto Clemente and other many Puerto Ricans like Sorina Ferrer, who was a rich Puerto Rican, and her brother was the governor of Puerto Rico for many years.
Oh.
She decided to stay with the poor.
Right.
She never wanted nothing for her brother, for her family.
Right.
And she was called the sister Isolina.
Right.
I carry that in my heart.
That's beautiful.
And because of that, I go to Overtown, I go to Liberty City to help my people.
That's right.
Because it's not about money. It's about heart. And when you from the hood, from the ghetto, we don't have money.
Where we from?
From the hood.
From the what?
From the
hood.
hood. From the hood. El barrio. And we bring that to us.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Let's go inside. Let's go inside.
Okay, so we're back on the scene. We are here at Roberto Clemente Park, Dorothy Quintana Community Center, which has recently been renamed by our district commissioner. I'm standing here with a gentleman. Lily introduced you as Luis. Tell me, I think you're a part of this park and what you do. So tell me, Mr. Lewis, what is it that you do here?
Well, I pretty much volunteer. You know,
Okay.
I don't get paid for anything that I do here. I have to make that as a disclaimer.
Right.
And the other issue is that I've been working, this building came about because back when Manny Diaz was mayor,
Right.
there was a bond issue and we fought for a new building and I was on that board and I kept the name alive, Roberto Clemente, and the hope that we get a new building, and eventually we got a new building, thank God. And so I pretty much, for a very long time, just did volunteer work, try to move the needle forward to help, the park help itself. And then I worked with the Puerto Rican Chamber of Commerce, small business, program, grants and stuff like that we try to get them to help themselves and across the board. This is not about Puerto Ricans only. It's, we all live here.
Right. It's about the community.
It's about us.
Yes.
We're all children of God.
Right.
And I believe that. And so I've been doing this for a while, and I'm very proud that the Commissioner, Chairwoman, Christine King. You better watch yourself.
I gotta watch myself. Chairwoman
Christine King came forward and helped put the funds for the name to make sure the building is named after Roberto Clemente. And Dorothy Quintana, who passed away at 101.
Wow.
She was a community activist born in Ponce, Puerto Rico, lived here for about 80 years, whatever.
Right.
And she helped build a lot of houses in this area, homes, and sold them at affordable prices to the local community, 140,000, whatever. And that's unheard of, when people hear that, they say, oh my God, it's a gift.
Right.
And those houses now are going for like 500, 600,000, which is crazy. I don't know how working folks and working class families can afford that, but that is the American way. So I'm very proud and very happy that the chairwoman came today and said this is our time, and our message moving forward about the Roberto Clemente is you do well by doing good.
Right.
And giving is just as important as receiving. So that's what we do here. We don't answer all the questions. We don't solve all the problems. Right. One day at a time, brother. That's how it works, man.
That's the only way you can do it.
That's the only way you can do it.
This community has undergone a lot of changes, even from with it being Wynwood and then it changing over to a Wynwood that we know it now.
Right.
What's slated for this park? Because since all the development and all of the big wigs are going into Wynwood now, right?
They're all here. They're not going.
They are here. Right. I stand corrected. They are here. What are they going to do, or because now everything is moving west, the development or the consideration for redevelopment is coming west. What is in store for this facility in this park coming up? Is there anything?
No, right now, our hope is down the road when we're talking about the basketball court.
Right.
There was a brother who was the parks director many years ago who talked about building a building around the basketball court. It's too hot in the summertime.
Right.
To find money for the kids to play and get an air conditioning basketball court. I'm from New York City, so I grew up in New York. I'm a New York Rican. You know?
Okay, I just came from New York.
You know, I'm very proud of that because we've done a lot in New York. You know, and we're good for Puerto Rico. We're here.
Right.
We vote.
Really, yes.
So that's one of the projects that we're looking at. We're looking at creating a statue in the name of Roberto Clemente.
I think that'd be hot. Very great.
Yeah, I think we're going to make sure, and we've got some lineup sponsors for that work. God willing, it comes through. And you know, this is for the community. Regardless of what happens, you know, there's even in the Bronx where I grew up, you know, there's been changes.
Bronx.
Yeah.
Rachelle, lean back.
You know what I mean?
Lean back.
That's it.
That's it.
And even there, you know, the place has changed and people are moving forward.
The Bronx has changed.
And it is. That's the way it is. You know, that's the way America is. Especially folks who got money.
Right.
They wait for the community to go down. This is
Right.
how they get the best deals.
And come and buy it up.
By not investing in the community and let the community go down, the services go down, and then they come in and buy you out and they chase you out, and you got to go to the suburbs and you got to pay, you know, for 2-hour ride and coming into work and all that stuff. So it's gonna be hard for working people, but you know, it is part of America, and at the end of the day, we got to vote. We got to vote people like Christine King, like Keon Hardeman. Those are the people we got to keep in office because they're friends of ours.
Right.
And they're not Puerto Ricans. It's not even about that. They're elected officials. They're there to do a job.
And it's about being cohesive.
Yeah, man.
As a community.
We got to come together. It's not perfect. You know, it's not going to be perfect, but it is what it is. And you know, and believing in God and doing good things, that's, you know, you can sing.
Mr. Lewis, it's a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah, likewise,
Hope
brother.
to stay in touch with you.
Yeah, man, I'll give you my
Definitely.
number.
And just keep posted on what's going on here, and maybe we could do some events here or something.
Yeah, well,
I see Bad Bunny in the picture right there. Maybe we can have Bad Bunny come.
Let me tell you what we did with Bad Bunny. So you see how old I am. We raise money. We're raising money for the kids here, for the Roberto Clemente baseball team. And I go to the park at the Marlins, and I say, hey, you know, we're gonna do this. What can you do? So, I got you a Puerto Rican rapper. I'm like, Puerto Rican rapper? I'm thinking of Daddy Yankee or something, you know, Teo and all those guys. And he says, no, this guy named Bad Bunny. He's gonna be here tomorrow, and he's gonna throw out the ball. I said, what the hell's Bad Bunny? So I just played it off, and I said, okay, good idea. I called my son. He's young. He said, who's Bad Bunny? So, that's the next bomb that's coming into the international. This guy, and he's broken out. You know, God bless him. I hope he makes the right decisions in his life to keep his fame going right. And he came, he threw the ball.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
A ella gusta la gasolina, dame la gasol. Hey. So we here in the community talking to Mr. Lewis, just seeing what's going on. We want to thank y'all for watching. Any last words you want to say?
Yeah, you know, the number one word that I want to pass on to all is that please make sure you're registered to vote. This November is very, very important that we go out to vote as a community, regardless of where you're from, regardless of your party affiliation. That doesn't matter. You got to vote. You got to show power. And if you don't vote, then you can't complain.
Can't complain. That's it.
The pulse, it quickens. Sensations ignite. Cool water, hot spice, fast tempo. New cultures, new flavors, new you. You, undersea explorer. You, street artist. You, fearless adventurer. Salsa dancing to Latin beats, exploring history and heritage. Flying across a wild river of grass. Sense of time, it's lost. Sense of place, it takes over. But not any place, this place. Here. Now. Wow. Not the Miami you expected, but the Miami you found. Start your discovery now.
Get on home, yeah. Get on home, Get on home, yeah. Oh, yeah. Get on home, yeah.
taken us through so many journeys in our life.
Yo, so check this out. We got some interviews coming up. Y'all make sure y'all follow the ones, cause we back.
We're here at the OJ's Farewell concert here at Miramar Amphitheater. We have the pleasure of being standing with Big Lip.
Tell us what you think about this concert.
The concert is amazing. I'm here with my dad, my business partner, and listen, it's an amazing time. Bring me back to the old days that where, you know, my daddy was playing all this music, and he told me it was strawberry tobacco, but it was weed, come to find out, but it's okay.
Soul music. This is soul music right now.
It's always a pleasure bumping into you. How the business going on? How that's going on?
Business going, man. My restaurant is doing amazing. The Crazy Vegan. Go check it out, man. You don't have to be vegan to check it out because it's just amazing freaking food. So come by 645 West Highland Beach Boulevard. It's the Crazy Vegan with a K. Search us on social media, anything you have. Listen, amazing time.
Wake Up Miami Morning Show gonna definitely pop up on you.
We're gonna pop up, man.
Ain't no more Big Lip Bandit. We're gonna see what Big Lip talk about. See what healthy food he got, and we about to get busy on this.
Thank you.
That's what it is. We'll be right back. You want to know where we at?
Where we at?
They want to know where we at?
Where we at?
We outside!
We are here at OJ's Farewell concert here, Miramar Amphitheater at Regional Park. We have the pleasure of standing here with the mayor
of Miramar.
Thank you so much for putting on this event.
This is me. Tell us about
Well, you know, this was the vision. You know, when I conceived to build the amphitheater, I knew that we had the demographics and the community support to come and enjoy these type of events. You know, our residents in Miramar and the surrounding areas, we don't always want to go to Miami Beach, downtown Miami. We want to be able just to walk to a concert or a short drive to the concert. So we're in the Miramar Regional Park. This amphitheater, we've had so many Grammy award artists here, and it's just been a great. And the Manhattans and the OJs.
That's
old school game. Come on now.
Right, that's incredible.
This is our music, and it's a pleasure to be here. And thank you so much for allowing us to interview you in this moment.
Thanks so much, and come back. We have so many more shows that's coming up. We got Kirk Franklin and Tamla Man. We got some dance hall, and we got some artists I can't even share right now.
Okay, all right, we're gonna
keep it secret.
Wake Up Miami Morning Show, y'all.
Wake Up Miami Morning Show. Great rising, everybody. How y'all doing out there? This is another special interview on the scene. EUTV WUMMS on the scene. And hey, listen, I'm here with the group of brothers that are outstanding. I'm very proud of them, definitely, because they represent my brotherhood, my fraternal order of brothers that come straight from the community that has decided to solve our own community problems and stand up for what's wrong in our community and right those wrongs through actions, good deeds, and righteousness. And I'm here with the You Can Committee from the Circle of Brotherhood, which stands for United Community Assistance Network. United Community Assistance Network. And it is a pleasure to be here with you, brothers. And just let me give y'all some background about You Can. You Can is the committee, is a committee of the Circle of Brotherhood, black men solving their own community problems. One of the problems in the black community, as well as communities around the world, is substance dependency, substance abuse, use of drugs and narcotics. But substance could be anything. So we're going to talk about that too in a minute. Substance dependency. The Circle of Brotherhood formed the committee to address this problem that plagued the world as well as the United States. However, right now, we are focusing on Miami, Florida with this initiative and with this movement. So from my right to left, I want you brothers to introduce yourselves to the people, starting with you, Brother.
I'm Brother Bernard, I'm a member at large of Circle Brotherhood and the You Can Committee. I'm anxious to get started with this interview, so let's do it.
That's what it is.
Brother James Hill, member of the Circle of Brotherhood, member at large of the Circle of Brotherhood, and also the secretary of You Can.
Brother Mustafa, member at large of the Circle of Brotherhood, also vice president of
On the scene, EUTV WUMMS on the scene, EUTV WUMMS on the scene. And hey, listen, I'm here with the group of brothers that are outstanding. I'm very proud of them, definitely, because they represent my brotherhood, my fraternal order of brothers that come straight from the community that has decided problems and stand up for what's wrong in our community and right those wrongs through actions, good deeds, and righteousness. And I'm here with the You Can Committee from the Circle of Brotherhood, which stands for United Community Assistance Network. United Community Assistance Network. And it is a pleasure to be here with you, brothers. And just let me give y'all some background about You Can. You Can is the committee, is a committee of the Circle of Brotherhood, black men solving their own community problems. One of the problems in the black community, as well as communities around the world, is substance dependency, substance abuse, use of drugs and narcotics. But substance could be anything. So we're going to talk about that too in a minute. Substance dependency. The Circle of Brotherhood formed the committee to address this problem that plagued the world as well as the United States. However, right now, we are focusing on Miami, Florida with this initiative and with this movement. So from my right to left, I want you brothers to introduce yourselves to the people, starting with you, Brother.
I'm Brother Bernard, I'm a member at large of Circle Brotherhood and the You Can Committee. I'm anxious to get started with this interview, so let's do it.
That's what it is.
Brother James Hill, member of the Circle of Brotherhood, member at large of the Circle of Brotherhood, and also the secretary of You Can.
Brother Mustafa, member at large of the Circle of Brotherhood, also vice president of You Can.
Chaplain Stanley Young, Circle of Brotherhood, member at large, treasurer of the You Can Committee.
Dennis Phillips, executive member of the Circle of Brotherhood, chairman of the UK committee.
We have many things that we could discuss about substance abuse. A lot of people may not know this, but I at one time was substance abuse too. That's what actually brought me back to Miami, being the street guys that we were, right? And from one thing to another, I mean, it started out for us, for me, and I'm quite sure probably you have the same stories. It started out where I needed to make money because I came from a drug-infested family of drug users. And so I started selling to make money, right? Because there was no food in the refrigerator, right? And so then, eventually, selling, I started to use. And I came down here in March 7th of 1996, leaving a heroin addiction. And haven't looked back since March 7th, 1996. Haven't looked back since. Why the celebration, right? Why the celebration? And I want to make sure I stay focused. Why the celebration of recovery for you guys? Let's start. Why the celebration of recovery? Why are you guys celebrating your recovery?
Well, first of all, I'm celebrating my recovery is because, you know, responsibility comes with recovery. And there's so many things in my life that I need to manage. And, well, when I was a kid, it started with alcohol and 14 years old. And it got out of control, and it went on to other drugs, marijuana, cocaine, and everything. And after a while, 50 years old, my life was out of control. It was out of control.
Right.
And so now I got a child from at 50-something years old. He's out there and don't know where the mother is. And I'm using drugs, substance. So my life is out of control. So recovery was a way of me getting back control of my life. And what I do now is I give back to people that need help. That means I can be able to reach out and show recognition to other people, other peers that is doing the recovery work in our community and join together so we can root out the prevalence of drugs and maybe turn around young kids as I was from drugs, alcohol dependency.
Okay. Your brother, and answer the same question for me, please.
Well, my name is James Hill. I'm the secretary of the UCAN committee. I have actually, in July, I was 33 years clean and abstinent from all mood or mind altering chemicals.
Right.
And what happened was, even though at my worst, my bottom, so to speak, was the day I came to in a place that I had been arrested before, doing the same thing, thinking the same thoughts, desperate, suicidal, homicidal, and the best I could come up with is I'm gonna go downtown and try to check back into prison. That's how bad it was.
Yes.
I couldn't stop doing what I was, even though I knew what I was doing was killing me, I couldn't stop doing it.
Right.
And I didn't understand, and for me, the reason I do this is because I believe that I went all through all of that for a purpose.
Amen.
And that purpose was to be able to now assist other people who are bewildered. They have no idea what's happening to them and understand how it happened. So that I believe my struggle was my gift.
Right.
Because without challenge, you know, it's like if you don't go through nothing, you can't grow through nothing.
Don't go through nothing, can't grow through nothing.
You know, so, you know, why God, you know, why am I going through this? And then some person will come in with that struggle, and I'm able to, like, just let them know that they're not alone, that I understand. I've been where you are, and here's what we can do. You know, so, and it's a process, you know, it really is. I didn't just get high one day and become that person who, you know, like the next day. No, it's a process. It took me a while to progress to that point where I was helpless and homeless and desperate and homicidal and suicidal, you know, reached that point. And so recovery is also a process.
Right.
And it starts with that slow climb, but that's steady and consistent.
Slow climb, steady grind.
Yeah, it's practice, you know, it's practice, you know, and practice.
Make perfect.
Manage your life.
It don't make perfect, it makes progress.
And sense.
With the idea of perfection, yeah.
That's a very, very, very good point. Brother Levant has been quiet. Brother Levant, why do you celebrate, and we're going to go around from here. Brother Levant, why do you celebrate your recovery? Yes. Yes.
I celebrate recovery because I come from a hopeless state of being. I didn't have any hope. I did things that, without going into detail, just say I stole from my family. I stole from the community. I was with people that I didn't want to be with. No matter how much I made, I always was behind the 8 ball. I became willing at a place. I always say I went from the Swedes to the outhouse.
Swedes to the outhouse?
Yeah, to the outhouse. I went to the outhouse.
That's all the way out there.
I went to the outhouse. That way, some of y'all might not understand the outhouse is when houses was built in the country. The bathroom wasn't in the house. It was in the outhouse. You had to go to the outhouse and take a dump. You know, so that's where I was. I was in the outhouse. And somehow or another, I always said, the light shined on me one day, and they asked me, you know, why do I always wear black at the time? And I was saying, like, apartheid need to be abandoned and this and that, and we are black people are oppressed. And then somebody else said, did you sell drugs, and who did you sell drugs to? And so I found myself looking at myself and saying, you know, I'm a part of the problem. And as I realized that I was a part of the problem, I became willing to change. And as over the years and working in the field of substance dependency, I found out that you have to be willing to share your life and to touch people in an intimate way. You know, you just can't go to work and just think it's a job. You can't meet people on the street and just think they're going to change their life. You have to meet people where they're at and just tell them about you. And in telling them about you, you're proud of who you are now. So I'm proud of who I am now. So that's worth celebrating. So that's why I celebrate recovery.
Okay. Ungawa. Good brother.
My name's Chaplain Young.
Yes.
I you know, grew up in a religious home. Father died when I was 11 years old.
Me too.
Yeah.
My father died at 11 too.
Wow,
Yes, he did. I was 11 years old.
And you know, my mom said at that time, when we was going to the funeral, that you don't understand why he had to leave now, but you're gonna understand when you get older. And I do understand when you get older. He was a man on the streets. You know, he went through Korean War. I believe it's the Korean War that messed him up, man, and got in his head. So he brought all that to the neighborhood. You know, I'm gonna make what I'm gonna make. You know, with these 8 kids, he had to get out there and do it. So he sold drugs. He did whatever he needed to do. He had little stores here and stores there. You know, to cover up that. You know, I grew up in the atmosphere, and some of my brothers, you know, was doing the kind of the same thing, running the streets, and I was about headed in that same direction. You know, as I was gotten older. You know, for a little time, I did get out there. You know, doing I started mostly using. You know, because I was a worker. You know, I went to work, did whatever I needed to do to get mine. You know, to use. And so I began that plight, you know, into the drug culture. You know, it was around in the 80s, late 80s, you know, a lot of things going on in clubs and stuff, and I wanted to do some things in music, and had a little band in the neighborhood, man, that I was trying to sponsor.
A band?
A band, yeah. I had one of the best guitar players, lead guitar players I ever seen in the neighborhood, you know. He never really made it to that. That's when Prince was coming out, and he was doing that thing like you had that thing like Prince.
Right.
That little white guitar man, and he was good. His name was BB. His name was Horace Shelton. We called him BB. His mom called him BB. But anyway, you know, and I wanted to do some things like that. But after that drug, I got into that crack. He was on crack, and the people around me was on crack, and so I was just using it, and before I knew it, this crack ain't like the marijuana and alcohol. This is something different. You know, this stuff was taking me down, man. It was taking all my attention. You know what I mean? And my money. You know, and my self-respect. And I got down.
And your money.
Yeah, man. And it took me down, you know, to the place where I'm saying, like, why is I'm living like this? You know, I never envisioned myself being on drugs, alcohol, because I grew up around, they used to call winos, you know, way back in there, called wine. They drank that Wild Average Rose and rum and rocket, you know, I think you back then.
What's that, rum and rocket?
Rum and rocket.
Shake 'em up. Shake 'em up.
Will I Run.
Oh, yeah, Will I Run.
I grew up around those guys, man, that sit around and drink that stuff. And I used to see, I don't want to be a part of that, not like that. But when I got out there, when I was 18, it was like, okay, you know, I want to party, I want to have some money, I want to go to clubs and stuff, I want some women, and they were drinking and, you know, doing things, and that crack in the late 80s, it took me down, and, you know, I came back to myself, you know, and I had hope, you know, it was that hope that I had in me, that I knew I could do things better in my life, and I changed my life. I went from that dark to that light state in my life, and that's what I celebrate. Because I came from that dark. Yeah. I know what the dark is about. We know what that dark is about. It ain't about nothing. So when I came into that light, man, and seen like this is a better life that I could live. And once I really got into the church, see, one thing about, you know, drug and alcohol culture, it's about that neighborhood, and that's all you see is a drug dealer with the new car, the girlfriends, and all the things that they doing out in the neighborhood. Until I got into the church and started seeing black doctors, black lawyers, black business people, black people who are successful, ain't selling no drugs, ain't doing no drugs, ain't doing no crime to make their money. And it blew me up, man. I said, I can have this also, man. And I began to see that, and I began to pursue that life and that lifestyle that they had. And that's how I went from that darkness to that light. The way I celebrate, my brother, my recovery, it's when I go into them jails, Miami jail, pre-trial release, and I walk in there and I see them young men in there who like me, like us, and I go in there, I tell them my testimony, how I got free from that stuff, and how they can get free from that stuff, and how they can live their life, a better life than what they are living now. You know, that's how I celebrate my recovery. Is sharing my testimony of how I changed my life and how they can change theirs. That's how I celebrate my recovery. I've been doing for January will be 34 years.
What is this Narcan? Let's talk about this right quick. What is this? This product endorsement right here. This is but it's good. It's what it is.
This is
Narcan nasal spray, 2-pack.
This is Narcan that we use for our outreach program when we go out on Saturdays and different days. We just explain to different people in the circle, out of the circle, on how Narcan is distributed. Because of the prevalence of fentanyl and oxycodone, everyone needs to know how to use this product and should really keep this product handy and available for overdoses. Off of fentanyl, overdoses off of oxycodone, and that's what it's used for, Brother Dre.
So basically, to put this in layman's term, if somebody ODing off of an opioid or off of heroin or off of Oxycontin or from taking pills, you'd hit them in their nose with this nasal spray, and then it'll wake them up and stop it from overdosing.
That's what it does.
Exactly.
That's what it does. That's what it does.
And one of the things you do, when you spray it in a person's nose, you also got to make sure you call rescue.
911.
Because this is you, and you can do it. If the person is not ODing and you think they are, it won't do any harm.
Okay.
So, but if someone is ODing, then you spray it in, and the don't, it's another one in there. You spray them again. But make sure you call 911 to have the rescue come there to assist that person along the way.
I'm gonna tell you a funny story about this because I just recently saw this being used, right? Wow. Because in my studio's in Overtown. Okay. So in front of my studio, I'm right there by the bridge, right, where the train runs. So a lot of times I see a whole bunch of drug users there, and I know their story because I was there. And so this one guy, apparently he must have shot up, and he fell out in front of the studio. So he was laying there like, right? It's not funny, but what he said afterward for me was like really funny because I was like, you almost died, but yes, he was like, so the people came to rescue him. And when they rescued him, they gave him this because I seen him hit it with it. And he was like, oh man, y'all done messed up my high. And I was like, Negro, you could have died.
Yeah, and we worked that area.
I was like, you could have died. Like, and so the funny part about it is when you're on drugs, and I know you were so concerned about that high and getting that high, you don't care about not even your own life.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things about substance dependence, drug addiction. When I was caught up in the grip of my illness, I didn't have the ability to care.
Right.
I didn't have the ability to care. I thought about what I was doing. I didn't want to do what I was doing, but that ability to care and add discipline and add purpose to my life was gone.
Wow.
So this order is it takes you. I call it a secondary psychosis because it takes me away from reality. It takes me away from what's actually going on, And if you haven't been there, it's hard to explain to someone who never experienced it. And if you've been there, it's hard to accept it from someone who never experienced it.
Right.
It's like a double-edged sword.
Right.
This is why we celebrate it. We got people around this table that been in some of the worst places you can be, and they found a way out. And the worst place you can be is a hopeless state of mind. That's the worst place any human being can be. And these brothers around this table have been there, and they found a way out.
Okay, so this is excellent, and y'all brothers are giving me some really good insight. Brother Bernard, you wanted to share why you celebrate your recovery.
Yes, I celebrate my recovery because the way I used to be, the troubles and the problems I caused in the streets for my family, the worryation, the crying, the tears I caused my moms. I celebrate my recovery now because I spend every day making my mom smile. I try to make up for those days where she cried, those tears that she shed for me. And I reach out now to youth. You know what I mean? I got a youth group in my church that I'm working with, and I'm leading them and mentoring them as to what not to do. And I like my recovery because James said I can reach. When someone has a problem, like if I run across another addict or someone out there struggling in the streets, I can be there because I've been there.
Right.
So that's why I celebrate my recovery.
So here is a big question that I think we got to answer this. This may be the elephant in the room, right? What have your, okay, and we talk about, but let me set this up, right? We talk about how the damage we caused in the street from doing the things we did, the damage that we caused in our community, let's call it our community, right? The damage that we cause in our community from past actions of drug addiction and doing wrongful things. What has your recovery recently, now to date, now that you've been in recovery, and I want y'all brothers to think about it, we're going to see who's going to pick the answer first. What has your recovery done nowadays to help the black community, to help our community?
Let me set the stage for it. I go every day to the drug community in Overtown and at the Miami Rescue Mission, where most black men are in shelters for drug abuse, homelessness, and alcoholism. I go over there volunteering at the Miami Rescue Mission to help black men. You know, when you help a man that's in substance abuse, and I came from substance abuse, homelessness, and alcohol. So when I see men, black men, I know their recovery is not just when it comes to alcohol and drugs. It's the recovery toward their family too.
Right.
Like myself, I had a son. I had to I had to get my recovery so I can help my son reach back and bring my son out of hopelessness, out of poverty, out of homelessness. So I always bring that when I'm going out to help the men and women in the black community. And I always keep that at the forefront when I'm trying to learn more about getting resources to help our community. Like I say, we go over town, we distribute this here. All of these brothers here have their own stories
let's hear
of what they do in the black community.
Let's hear, brother.
You know, I think the biggest impact we could do to help someone is to live their life. Live the life that you are proclaiming.
And keep in mind, what has your recovery done for the black community now?
What my recovery has helped for the black community now, it helped me to get me right, then I can go back to the prisons in jail.
Give me some.
Okay.
Give me some.
I thought you give me the hand.
No, give me some.
Okay, yeah. To go to the prisons and the jail, that's where my heart and my passion
Give me
is.
some more. Give it to me again.
That's where we at. We in the prisons and jail. That was what I was going to do today. But I put it off for this. But I go into the prisons and jail and let them guys know, man, that there is some hope. Okay, you can pull yourself up from this. Here's some resources, man. Here's a drug center you can go to when you get out. Here's a homeless shelter. You see, when a guy get out, released from the prison and jail, they ain't got no money. They can't get no job. They can't get no place to stay. So what they gonna do? They're going to go right back to doing what they were doing when they got them into that trouble. I'm trying to break that recidivism rate right now to get these men to see, hey, you can have a better life, but it starts with you. And this is what I'm doing to help the black community, to let the black man know. Mostly I can go do with the women, I can deal with the youth, but my passion really for that man that's behind those bars, black, white, Hispanic, whoever, because they all coming back to our community to do something. You know, because all the drugs going through the black community. So I go back there and I'm trying to get these men to see that they can change their life, they can turn around, and they can help. You know, they need to learn to help the community instead of hurt the community. So that's how I personally do helping the community move forward, to helping these men. The man is the head. The man is the leader. If the leader ain't in place, okay, the rest of the body ain't gonna follow nothing else. You know what I'm saying? I had a pastor once told me, he said, Stanley, if you live the life and you really live the life, people all in your household will begin to live and try that same life
it's
that
called
you're proclaiming.
Mindset.
Mindset.
Brother Levant.
We started this, the lead organizer started a substance abuse committee it's about 7 years ago now. And from that, I came aboard, and I thought it was a great way to give back to our community. To be, what better way to get a group of brothers that been in the circumstance of hopelessness and go give hope. James has a great idea with how this is going on. He also talked about literacy, how we got to deal with literacy. He talks about emotional disorder. And so this is what we are going to do as an organization, our committee of an organization. Circle Brotherhood is sitting out this committee to address the trauma in the black community. That's how we're going to do it.
Amen. Good brother here. That's to my right.
Oh man, you know, I've written 4 chapters in my head since you asked that question. And this is something that I'm sure we could do a whole series.
We could. We're going to do it. We can do more.
Question.
We can do more. We're going to do
You
I
know,
like this. I like the feel of
man,
this. Y'all like
so
the feel
much,
of this? I like the feel of
There's
this.
so much in that question, and I'm really going to try to condense it. And I wish there was a word or a phrase that I could just capsulize all of it, but that's not possible. You know, I think the biggest thing is to educate. That's what I can do. I didn't just recover from addiction, but I went back and looked. You know, this is what I do. You know, I go back, I look historically at all of the different approaches to, you know, to this, and helping my community to understand what it is that we're up against. Because if we don't define the problem, there ain't gonna be no solution.
That's right.
The first step in solving any problem is defining it. You know, I don't care what model you use, what, you know. And so when I say that, let me give you an example. I was talking to a bunch of young guys at this place where I go. These kids are there, they on the verge. You know, some of them are already in the juvenile justice system. Some of them are right there because they followers, and you know what I mean. And I'm trying to talk to them, but I notice like none of them can look me in the eye. None of them. I'm talking about 15, 16, 17-year-old boys about to be men.
They ain't trying to look at
This is what I got. I ask a question, this is what I get.
Twisting their head,
Yeah. That's
You know,
it.
I mean, some of that can be attributed to adolescence and, you know, there's just human growth and development, but
that is what they do.
But I don't see the same thing in non-black children.
They be
able to
willing
look
to
at you.
answer.
Yeah, I ask the kids, I ask each one, how do you feel? They can't articulate their feelings. And so underneath that inability to articulate their feelings is this anger because they feel less than. They know that they should be able, they look around, they can see what this, and there's that anger, that aggression comes out. And how they express that, you know, we see, you know, we getting a little deeper now. You know, like, but the symptom is drug use,
gun
violence. It's that aggression coming up. What else to do?
Early childhood.
What else to do?
Early
I'm reacting to trauma. You know, so retracting the trauma and so I think my contribution is to be that voice.
All right.
You know, is to be that voice. You know, not the popular voice all the time.
Right. But to be that voice.
But progress comes only when we have honest discussions. And you can't have an honest discussion if a voice is missing.
That's right.
Or we're not listening to it.
Let's go to brother, because time is running down. Let's go to brother.
The question was, what since I've gotten in my recovery, what I did different
for the community, enhancing the community, making
that's easy to answer. number one, I give back to the community by going through the brotherhood. I mentor young men, like James said. I want to be the voice. I can provide jobs for people now, housing, because I house veterans that are returning to society with drug addiction, mental illness. We specialize in those type of patients, and I pray for the community.
That's it. Pray. That's tight. That's tight. That you. So we got 2 minutes left on the interview. Right quick. Give me 1 second there, because we got 10 minutes left, and I want to talk about You Can, all right, the network. Where is it located? How can people become a part of it? I got a couple of brothers who I want to introduce y'all to. Well, I got one gentleman I want to introduce you to, introduce to this program. But let's tell the people, how could they become a part of this? How can they gain access to this or receive help from it?
The best way that you can be a member of Black Men Solving Our Own Community Problems, You Can is a part of that through the Circle of Brotherhood. You can come to our meetings every Tuesday night at 6:30, and you can pick out an application to become a Circle of Brotherhood member, and that automatically, as being a member, you're entitled to be a part of the You Can organization.
Now, let me ask the person, Brother Dennis, do they have to necessarily be members of the Brotherhood
Yes.
in order to get?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But outside of that, can you recommend somebody who is non-members of Brotherhood, like treatment centers and assist people?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we do that. We
As well.
We as a collective, we advocate for those persons that don't have a voice and need resources.
Excellent. Because we operate as a unit. So yeah,
Yes.
that wealth of knowledge would be
So
there.
one of the things we do is we build on what we have. So when someone says they're ready to go get help, it's like we would need to be able to place that person right then, connect that person with somewhere where they can get some help at.
Right.
So therefore, that's what we do. That's another part of our committee. We build a network of entities, organizations where we can place people at that wants help right then.
Yes.
Because if I'm asking for help right now, tomorrow,
I might not be here.
Yeah.
I might not be here.
And I'm sincere
Right.
that I want help right now.
Right.
And even tomorrow, I'm gonna want that help, but I got an illness, like I said, that's gonna disconnect
person
me
need a
from
bed.
reality, so I'm gonna be gone.
So that's good to know we have this in our community. My brotherhood, Circle of Brotherhood, we're going to wrap this interview up, but we want to thank you for your time. And I'm going to tell you something. This felt good for me. I want to do this again. What y'all say?
Let's do it
again.
again. Yeah, we need
Let's
to
do
get
it
in
again.
depth with it.
All right, so when we do it again, we're going to ask the rest of these questions, and we're going to just keep it rolling.
Keep it rolling.
All right, y'all. We want to thank y'all for watching, and keep watching. Circle of Brotherhood, solving our own community problems. But this particular group, this subcommittee, is called the United Community Assistance Network, also known as You Can. When you believe, you can.
Made by Quezzy.
Miami Morning Show.
You watching the wake up, 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 wake up.
Miami Morning Show.
You watching the wake up, 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 wake up.
Miami Morning Show.
You watching the wake up, 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 wake up.
Miami Morning Show.
You watching the wake up, 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 wake up.
Miami Morning Show.
You
Miami Morning Show.
You watching the you watching the
Miami Morning Show.
You watching the wake up, 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 wake up.
Miami Morning Show.
You watching the wake up, 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 wake up.
Miami Morning Show.
You watching the wake up, 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 wake up
Miami Morning Show.
You watch the wake up, 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 wake up
Miami Morning Show.
Hello, everybody. We invite you to watch the Wake Up Miami Morning Show, affectionately known as the WUMMS Show, with your host, Andre So.
And I'm Lyneise Rachelle. Make sure that you are tuning in every weekday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m.
And you'll catch the hottest morning show in America. Yeah, we're going to say that.
Right.
The hottest morning show in America. I said it. America. I did. Only in America.
Listen, you can catch some positive affirmations. National Days. News, shenanigans. Dance
Local, national, the whole nine, and the dance off. So don't miss the show.
Yeah, don't miss it.
Want to drink? Drink on that.
Drink on that.
That's what it is. So
that's how we feel. So you make sure that you tune in.
That's how we feel.